Hi Gemini, this is your 2019 year ahead reading. What we're going to do with this reading is we'll divide up the cards into the the 4 quarters. In my mind, I'm thinking 3 cards for each quarter. So four quarters. And then we'll also look at the cards as a whole and what the entire picture suggests. Something a little different is that I'm going to be using a standard deck of playing cards. These are the B playing cards. And then we will bring in some clarifiers afterwards from the Universal Weight Tarot deck. That is the deck, of course, illustrated by Pamela Coleman Smith, but recolored by Mary Hanson Roberts. So a little bit different deck than what we've been using previously. 2 different decks. All right, and so I've been shuffling the cards prior, and I'm going to continue to shuffle them until I feel that they are ready for a cut. Okay, I think that's good, Gemini, and so we're going to cut the deck. And let's see what we have for Gemini for the year ahead 2019. And we're starting out with the 6 of Diamonds, followed by the Jack of Spades, and then the 9 of Hearts. 3 different suits. For the second quarter, we start out with the Joker, followed by the 8 of Hearts, and then the 10 of Diamonds. For the third quarter, the 2 of Spades, the 5 of Diamonds, and the 8 of Clubs. Now for the final quarter, we have the King of Clubs, the 7 of Spades, and the King of Diamonds. Wow, Gemini. So let's get started. Let's take a look at these individual quarters and what they're suggesting for you for the year 2019. Let's just start with this 6 of Diamonds. You know, this is consistent with really all of the readings that we have had up until this point. It shows you, Gemini, starting the year out with a strong emphasis on getting your financial life in order, getting it established. This has been a theme that has been running through your readings for the several months that I have been doing them, that it's very important to you at this time to get yourself situated somewhere in business, in a place that shows some promise for your future and some more stability ahead. Also, it shows you, Gemini, being quite aware of what your financial responsibilities are. Even though I am also seeing that you perhaps feel like you are venturing into an area that is quite new. All right, so let's say that the details of this particular business that you're getting into, or discipline, or field, you might actually already be established in it. In other words, it's perhaps not even a brand new job, but it could be, but I don't see it as a brand new job, but there's a sense that you're still quite new and undergoing a learning curve, let's say. So there's some learning going about in the first quarter, which is a beautiful thing to see. And we really couldn't ask for more than the 9 of hearts, except for maybe that 10 of diamonds. But so here we have the 9 of hearts. I believe, Gemini, for those of you that will resonate with this message, that even within the first quarter of 2019, that you are going to be experiencing a lot more satisfaction in your work life, and that you will feel that things are a lot more stable. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention or state that there's a possibility of meeting someone in the first quarter who helps you to feel this sense of satisfaction. This could be somebody who is quite intelligent, very witty, can meet you at the same level mentally. You are have a very quick wit, Gemini, and a quick mind, and so there's clearly there's the possibility of another individual that you will meet that has the same, I want to say, young at heart and very quick mentality mind in that first 3 months. It could even be I want to say the promise of a romantic relationship that is very fulfilling. But I'm also sensing that this could be a person that you have already met, perhaps in 2018 or even earlier. That's also possible. This person might be affiliated with your work life. Okay, so that's possible that you have some commonality between you in terms of your careers, and that you, by, let's say, the end of the first quarter, it's possible that you are going to reach a more stable state to the relationship, perhaps in the previous year or the year before that. Things have been feeling perhaps a little bit new and fresh, but it looks like things, that there's a potential for things to become more stable if that relationship is something that comes about for you. Nonetheless, we still see, even though we're looking at 2 areas of life here, one it's romantic and one more financial, we're looking at a great deal of satisfaction in the first quarter around both of those areas. In the second quarter, we start out with the Joker, followed by the 8 of hearts and the 10 of diamonds. Well, the Joker represents a very big surprise. And so, well, I don't mean to spoil the surprise by saying there's going to be a surprise, but I don't think there's any way around this. It is just an event that will just come about in that second quarter that is I see it really as a very beautiful, fulfilling surprise. And then we have this 8 of hearts, and so for those of you that have been in a romantic relationship, it looks like things are really going to solidify in a most promising way in the second quarter for some of you. This can also lead to a more stable, secure, and I want to say very fortuitous financial outcome with this Ten of Diamonds. And so if there is a partnership of sorts that forms in that second quarter, it feels to me right here that there's a romantic element to it. But what I am seeing is that it is the start of something very long-lasting and stable, and that the financial picture for you will be much, I wanted to say greater, but that wasn't exactly, the financial situation will well, let's say this, it's just going to sparkle. It's going to be fantastic because it's a pairing of incomes, right? That's what I'm trying to say. If it is not romantic, because this is a general reading and so it's not going to hit everybody, but it could also be that you make some contacts or a contact in that first 6 months of 2019 around something that you are passionate about. And so because we are looking at both diamonds and hearts here, I do see sort of a mixture of finances, business, and passion. So you see we can go either way here, either a romantic picture that ends up with just a very positive outcome, or it is more of a business partnership around a very strong passion that you have. And this can also involve the Jack of Spades, and the person that we are seeing as someone that you just harmonize with. By the third quarter, we see that there is some sort of decision that you'll be facing. Things are perhaps going to be a little uncertain in the third quarter. I don't see this impacting the first or the second at this time. However, what I do see is that there needs to be or will be a change, a big change that comes about regarding your wealth or your values or your prestige, your level of prestige, we might say. There is a big change that comes about in that third quarter, and it's related to, again, boy, we are just seeing this beautiful picture of stability, long-term lasting stability, both in work and in your relationships. Thus far, this really looks like an absolutely beautiful picture, Gemini. And let's get into the fourth quarter. I have a few lingering questions kind of in my mind, but I'm just going to hold off a little bit because I know too that we are going to draw cards from the tarot and get some further clarification. So in this fourth quarter, I am seeing there are perhaps several, it could be two individuals in authority that have some sort of say-so over your plans. It could be, I'm just now, this is a very specific message and it won't pertain to everybody. And so we'll just have to wait and see because this is like an entire year ahead reading. I mean, perhaps it will go out a little bit longer or it could be a little shorter. It's it's a general reading, so it just depends. But I am seeing two fathers here. And I am seeing these fathers considering perhaps, I'm just going to say it, I can't hold back, but a potential for a spiritual union that occurs. Now, that's very promising for folks that have been looking for a relationship. So that's why I'm a little hesitant to say it because it's so promising, all right. But we understand that when we do card readings, that and especially general card readings, that these are just energy trends that are going out, and it's going out to a large number of people. Nonetheless, I am picking up two adult men, perhaps fathers, could be also a father figure, and that they are considering or have some say-so over what your future plans might be. It could be, it's possible that you may want to instigate some plans regarding this partnership. I have to say too, again, regarding this potential for marriage or family life, a long-lasting romantic relationship that's coming up. It's possible that some authority figures might ask you or require you to go through some sort of process before you make this union official, and which is completely understandable and common when we're looking at a marriage situation. If that were to occur, it could even be two priests, something, or rabbi, or two ministers, something along that nature. And what I'm seeing is something that is asking you to sort of step back and think about these plans that you have put or would like to put in place. All right, now I am going to pull some tarot cards for clarification. You know, something that I'm finding interesting about this Gemini is that we have just really focused on career and finances all these months. And this is the first time that I have used the playing cards in your readings. And we are seeing, or I am seeing, such a strong potential for a beautiful, happy family life. And also with that idea being supported by a situation where your finances are also bolstered through the union. And so let's take a look. Let's see what comes up with the tarot to clarify the cards that we are looking at. Knight of Wands, and and I think this is the second one, Three of Swords. All right, we'll have to think about that. As I am pulling these cards, I know from the comments that I am seeing that a lot of folks actually are able to and like to pull out their own meanings for the cards as they come up. So as I am pulling cards, you can think about potentially what that might mean for you. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles, which actually corresponds to the Ten of Diamonds. And so, wow, that is a strong confirmation to get the very same card coming up. In the same quarter, right next door. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles. For the third quarter, the Eight of Cups. One more card for the third quarter. The Three of Pentacles. The Five of Wands comes up in the last final quarter. And now I'm asking for a final card. This is for Gemini for the year 2019, the year ahead. A final card for Gemini, and this is going to be it because of the way that it flipped over. Have some noise going on in the background, Gemini, and I bet you can hear it. But such is life. I apologize for that if you can hear that, but I'm going to continue on with the reading because the cards are potent here, and so we need to keep going. So let's take a look at this, the Knight of Wands and the Three of Swords. These cards don't very clearly relate to these cards. For example, the Ten of Pentacles clearly relates to the Ten of Diamonds. There's no question about that. And so what I am seeing here, though, I have to say, is Gemini, I feel that for some of you, this has been the romantic side of this equation, has been a long process. And you are at the point, for those of you that are resonating, you are at the point where you are reaching a very positive conclusion. So what I mean to say by that is that in the past, I feel this really relates to the past, that there may have been even 3 instances, let us say, where things did not work out for you in relationships. Perhaps it was only 1, but the 3 seems to stand out here. Instances where things did not work out. And we have finally perhaps a situation where they are going to work out now, and they will. And that's what I am seeing with this Knight of Wands in conjunction to the playing cards. So the message that I'm picking up is there could be some residual indecision in your own heart, which is understandable if things have not worked out in the past or if you have been hurt in the past. And we can be wondering in that sort of situation whether or not we should go through with a final commitment. But based on the playing cards, what I am seeing is that the situation looks very positive indeed. Let's take a look at the Ten of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. So with the Ten of Pentacles, this is really great financial success, abundance and stability for the family. We can see an entire family pictured here with the generations. And so it looks like the match or the pairing that I am picking up here, or the situation, whether it's business or romantic really, has the potential for bringing about a lot more stability and security for the family. And as a result, you are also able to attain a higher level of independence for yourself. Now, this is interesting because usually, you know, when we're talking about financial independence, we're thinking about striking it out on your own, you know, making sure that you are able to bring in your own resources. I think, though, what I'm picturing here, I'm not discounting that concept. I feel like you are able to do that, or you know how important it is to establish yourself financially, independently, and that when two people come together that are vibrating at the same frequency, right? They get one another. And when also the financial picture is strengthened in that union, you yourself can also increase your own sense of independence and stability. Now, in the third quarter, there's a little shift. Things become, there's a little bit of indecision that comes about. There is some change, but also stability in the long-term work. This is getting very specific, and these are a number of months out, Gemini, I have to say. But what I am picking up here is that for some folks, it's possible that you may be looking at a move to another location. This could be related, probably related to the partnership and also work. You know, we have to decide how we are going to live. And oftentimes this involves one person having to be in one location, and then the other person follows. So, or agrees, I should say, to go along because it's beneficial for both. So I'm picking up that concept. There might be a sacrifice involved or a decision to make regarding having to make a move. And I am sensing also, I'm picking up from this Three of Pentacles that it looks like it's something that you might want to discuss with some other folks, people that you trust, that you think have a really solid, good reasoning, and you've gotten good advice from in the past about whether this sounds like a good idea. I think in the long run, because of this Eight of Clubs here, I believe that in the long run, what we're looking at is that the work scenario is going to be much more stable for you. And also there are going to be a lot of very good social contacts, like a whole social life builds out of this. If, for example, let's say you are at a stage where you are going to, let's say, build a family, or you're just starting a new family, for some folks that it might have to occur in another location, let us say. But what I'm seeing from this reading is that, and this might be much more farther out, I should say, than just 2019. It could also be in 2019, but it's also extending out. I see just really a beautiful social network branching out and supporting you. There's just a little decision right at the beginning about having to make the move. And then we have the Five of Wands and the Six of Cups. I have to say, the Six of Cups, we know that this traditionally represents someone from the past coming into your life or your childhood. I'm just seeing childhood though, and I'm just struck by this idea about the two male figures. And so once again, I'm going to say that it looks like two fathers or two father figures come into the picture at the end of the year to have some input, and perhaps just to say not to rush things, that we need to think about this and make plans moving forward. I want to say something else that is coming through to me. It's this very particular image. I see a great deal of family. I want to say just fun and play ahead for Gemini. I think you'll know what I mean. It's that sort of sensation that when you get together with family, you can just sort of jostle around, play games, have fun. You have your inside jokes, your communication with your siblings. It's the difference between, let's say, being let's say a child, and then being more of an adult, and then having a satisfying relationship with your siblings. And so it could be that there are going to be some family gatherings toward the end of the year that include the parents, that there are some discussions about just taking the time to really think everything through and to make sure that the plans that you put in place are solid and that everybody involved feels heard and understood, and that everyone is on board together. I have to say though, Gemini, this is an extremely promising reading for 2019 regarding romantic relationships and or your financial situation. There's the possibility of having to make a decision about a move that involves work or a change of work. The family is involved in this decision-making process. I see this as a good thing because it brings everybody together in a very positive, joyful way. Gemini, this is your reading for the year ahead, 2019. I want to thank you so much, as always, for your views, your likes, shares, and to the subscribers. Your participation means so much to me. I want to thank you, and I want to say I will see you next time.